Let's go ahead and get into our guided practice now. So we should be doing these problems together. So as I'm going through the problems and asking questions, please be sure you're thinking of these answers to yourself. Also, make sure you have your pencil and your paper next to you. All right, guided practice number 1. Mrs. Falby loves to read too. So Miss Falby and Miss Simmons, they just love to read. Miss Falby reads 32 pages every night. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this up. She's reading 32 pages and she's reading them every night. She did this for 3 nights, okay? How many pages did she read? So my question, I need to figure out how many pages she read altogether. She read 32 pages every night, and how many nights did she read those 32 pages? She read them for 3 nights. I'm going to go ahead in day 1, day 2, and day 3 and fill this in. In day 1 of these 3 nights, how many pages did Miss Falby read? She read 32 pages. How many pages did she read in day 2? 32 pages. How many pages did she read in day 3? 32 pages. So she read 32 pages in day 1, day 2, and day 3. We want to again focus on solving this problem without using repeated addition or the place value chart. So I need to go ahead and write a number sentence, a multiplication number sentence. She read 32 pages. How many nights did she read 32 pages? 3 nights. That is my number sentence. That is my equation. Now I want to go over here in my box and solve that equation. My biggest number goes on top. 32 is my largest number. These are 3 ones, so I'm going to make sure I put them in the ones place. If you do not put your numbers in the correct place, you're more than likely going to get your answer wrong. So make sure you are writing. Okay, let me pause. Make sure you are writing with good handwriting so your numbers aren't jumbled up and so you know what you're seeing and what place and what you should be adding or multiplying. Having very tiny writing, and if you can't read it, it's going to be hard for you to solve the problem. Also, it's key that you know your place value because, again, this 3 has to go in the ones place. If the 3 goes in the tens place, you're going to have an incorrect problem. So make sure you're taking your time and thinking about where your digits go. So that 3, that's the ones place. It goes in the 1 place, which is right underneath that 2. I'm going to go ahead and start solving my problem. 3 times 2 is 6. Coming across to the tens here, 3 times 3 is 9. Now let's say I don't know 3 times 3 and I don't know my facts yet. You want to roll your numbers, right? If on the back of your paper you need to go ahead and start doing this so that you have it readily available to you, go ahead and do it because you don't know what problem we may have in the future that's going to still have you needing to know your 3s. So I prefer you go ahead and figure out your multiplication this way as opposed to going back to doing this because 1, that's going to take a lot of time. But this is also a time while you're at home to get you some multiplication games, flashcards on your phone so you can know these facts so you just know them. The quicker you know them, the better. So how many pages did Miss Falby read? She read 96 pages. Let's go ahead to number 2. Marquand went to the pumpkin patch. So Marquand went pumpkin picking. He bought 4 pumpkins. Good to know. Each pumpkin weighed 21 pounds. Some more key information there. How much did the pumpkins weigh? I need to know how much all 4 of these pumpkins weighed. Well, how much did 1 pumpkin weigh? 1 pumpkin weighed 21 pounds. Okay. 1 pumpkin weighed 21 pounds. I know that I can multiply this because because he bought 4 pumpkins. That is my multiplication sentence. 21 times 4. I need to find out what that answer is. How do I do that? My largest number is going to go on the top. Notice I continue to write down my symbol. What am I doing here, right? Am I adding, multiplying, subtracting? What am I doing? Put it there as a constant reminder. My four ones are going to go in the ones place. I have 21 times 4. Let's go ahead and start. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 in the tens there is 8. Again, if I need to know that, come on over. 2 times 1 equals, 2 times 2 equals, 2 times 3 equals. Go ahead and do your math so you have it. Marquand, right? He picked 4 pumpkins. We needed to know how much those pumpkins weighed. And now we know that the pumpkins all together weighed 84 pounds. Let's continue on. Number 3, Miss Adams went shopping last week. Y'all know I love to shop. I've been having to do some online shopping, so I do miss the stores though. She bought 3 dresses. This is not a digit, but it is still a number. Please do not skim through your word problems and feel like, oh, there's no 2 numbers. All I see is 1 number. That simply means that's lazy work. Make sure you are reading. Make sure you are actually understanding the problem and reading that this is a number. She bought 3 dresses. Good to know. They were cute dresses too. Each dress cost $33. Okay. How much did she spend shopping? I need to know how much money Miss Adams spent. She bought 3 dresses. They each cost $33. So my multiplication sentence, they cost $33 each. How many did she buy? She bought 3 of them. Let's solve that problem. How do you set this up? This is what you need to ask yourself. Which of these numbers do I put on the top? Your largest number should be on top. This 3, those are 3 ones. Where should you place that 3? In the ones place. Now we are going to solve. Which numbers should I start to solve first? I'm going to start in my ones place. 3 times 3 is 9. Coming over to my tens. 3 times 3 is also 9. Going back to my question, how much did she spend? Miss Adams spent $99 shopping. My little dollar sign is a little raggedy right there, but know that that's a dollar sign. Yep, and I just made it worse. Me making it bigger just means I'm balling. Miss Adams spent $99 shopping. Remember, how are we doing this, right? We're reading the problem, going through, circling key information, setting up our number sentence, and then we come over here and set up our problem to solve. Please remember to use scratch paper if you need to know your math facts. Coming on down. Mr. Rancher moved into a new apartment building. There are 4 floors in the apartment. Again, remember, just because you don't see a digit doesn't mean you don't see a number. So there are 4 floors in his new apartment. And 102 people, 102, that's a number, you guys. 102 people live on each floor. How many people live in his building? That's what I need to figure out. Well, okay, there are 4 floors. On each floor, there's 102 people. So, 102 people times how many floors are there? There are 4 floors. We need to solve for that problem. How do I set this problem up? Your largest number, 102, should be on the top. These are 4 ones. Where do your 4 ones go? In the ones place right underneath your 2. Let's go ahead and start solving. I'm going to go ahead, start in the ones. 4 times 2 is 8. Coming over to my tens. 4 times 0, 0. Coming over to my hundreds. 4 times 1 is 4. This looks a little raggedy, but I want to direct you to where you should be multiplying next. You're simply going from the ones, tens, to the hundreds, to the thousands, and so on. So make sure you stay in that pattern as you're multiplying from this single digit at the bottom. So I have 408 as my answer. 408 people live in Mr. Rancher's building. How did I solve this problem? I went through, I read it, I circled it, what was key information. There were 4 different floors in his apartment building. On each one of those floors, he had 102 people living there. Setting up my number sentence, 102 times 4. Stacking my numbers here, 102 times 4 gave me 408, telling me that 400 people live in Mr. Rancher's building. So if I want to even think about this visually, if I have 4 floors, for my visual friends who are like, how do we set this up and why did we set it up like that? I have 4 floors, and on each floor, there were 102 people. So I took this information and made it into a multiplication sentence and solved it in a very fast way. Next, you'll have your independent practice to give you more practice, and then you'll have your exit ticket. Make sure you have your pencil and paper ready, and make sure you take your time and do your best.